far as overcap or recap of the session, one of the things that I guess I would point to three things, maybe four, that I view as to be the highlights of this session. The one that was most important to me personally, and the one that we signed into law this afternoon, was the human trafficking bill. Many of you have heard me say that I was in attendance a couple of years ago at a conference where a person spoke about human trafficking in Mississippi, just how prevalent it is, not just in our state, but all across the nation. That put a burden in my heart for the issue, for the people who are trapped and caught in that industry, and we set out to make a difference there. I held a conference, a summit last October, where we made this the focal point. Arising out of that summit, we brought forward legislation that we passed the second week of the session. The Senate passed it a week or two ago, and today the governor signed it into law. We believe that will make an immediate and an enormous impact on the state of Mississippi. You know, we do a lot of things up here sometimes that you have to wait for years to see the results. But this is something that I think is going to immediately affect the issue of human trafficking and begin to protect lives of young people who are caught in that sad and devastating industry. We believe it will make a huge impact on our state for the good. So that's probably the highlight for me personally. Other things that we've dealt with this year that were big items, the heartbeat bill. As you know, we have been long a champion for sanctity of human life. We passed the heartbeat bill. It was signed into law a few weeks ago, and we believe that will begin, hopefully, making an impact on protecting the lives of the unborn. The broadband bill was a big issue. Handled that the first week of the session, I believe. This is, of course, an attempt to provide a way for people in the rural parts of our state to get internet service. We gave the opportunity to the EPAs to do that, and hopefully they will find a way to make that happen. It's now on them, I guess, to make that happen. Another issue which we passed today was teacher pay raise. We put about $50 million, I think $58 million toward that endeavor. When we initially thought that would be about $1,000, upon recalculations, it was we were able to stretch that amount out to $1,500. So that's a pretty good lick, I think, combined with the $2,500 raise we did 3 or 4 years ago, and the step raises that teachers have received each year. I believe they've been able to, over the last 8 years, hopefully realize a good increase in their pay. I guess those are the 4 big ticket items. I guess let me touch on the budget too. Regarding the budget, I felt like we had a very good budget this year. A lot of the highlights of that budget were that we were able to level fund the agencies from last year. I don't think anybody suffered a cut. If they did, it wasn't a major cut. We were able to do the 2% set aside. We were able to give state employee pay raise, which was something that was a big concern for me. We gave community college IHL pay raise. We gave teacher pay raise. We fixed the PERS problem. Those are all big ticket items that we were able to handle this year. I believe that is a result of the practices we made in the past to be conservative with our budgeting, to not spend more than we take in. And this year, we were fortunate, I think, to be able to realize the benefits of those practices. So I believe the budget is a good one. And I guess those are maybe 5 highlights of the session for me.
All right. You want me to hold that?
I've got it. Thank you.
Well, thank y'all for being here today on the Friday before conference weekend is scheduled. Obviously, it is a major story that we were able to get finished here on day 81, I believe. By all the people that I've spoken to that worked on the Senate staff, this is the earliest that any legislative session has ended, and that's obviously important because it means we have to spend less money with legislators in town. But I think it also speaks to the cooperation between the House and the Senate during this legislative session. I have to tell you, it's been an absolute privilege to work with Speaker Gunn this year and the 7 years prior. We have jointly accomplished many great things for the people of our state. Today, we end the session with having passed a truly balanced budget that only spends recurring revenue for recurring expenditures. We also passed a truly balanced budget that is going to put additional money in our rainy day fund, which could get the number as high as $450 million in our rainy day fund. Just as a reminder, when I came in 2004, that number was at $13 million. And the thing that we as Mississippians know better than most is whether it's an economic disaster or a natural disaster, there are always going to be days that rain. And so I think it's really important that we continue to work towards filling our rainy day fund. Mississippi's in the best financial shape we've ever been in. We're in the best fiscal shape we've ever been in. And that is a direct result of conservative leadership in the governor's office and conservative leadership in both the House and the Senate. But even though we do have a very conservative budget with very conservative revenue estimates, we were able to fund many of our priorities. A $1,500 a year pay raise. What that means is many teachers across this state that were employed when I was running for lieutenant governor are now making almost $8,000 more than they were the year before I ran. And for those that are in an A district or a B district, or in an A school or a B school, or in a school that has improved a letter grade either from F to D or D to C or C to B, they're probably going to make and earn almost $10,000 more than they did just a year before I ran for lieutenant governor. In addition to that, we were able to fund other priorities in the budget process, including a new trooper school to put more highway patrolmen on the road, as well as investing an additional $15.2 million in child protection services that will help us better serve those most vulnerable young people that are in foster care. In addition to that, we were obviously able to pass a bill to continue to make Mississippi the safest place in America for an unborn child.